Hey guys, welcome back. Today we check into another function of count, which is a variation of count function, but a more advanced version of count, which is count ifs. Now, we have seen count if in our earlier video where we were able to get the count based on one criteria. But this time you will be able to get count on multiple criteria. So you would be able to search or iterate your entire data based on two criteria, and you'll be able to get the necessary output. So you could have range one. So I'll just write R for range and criteria one. Yeah, so this is very important. You at least need to have one criteria for countif function to execute. Yeah, rest you need to, so you can have uh, multiple criterias over here. So as I said, criteria range 3 and criteria 3 and so on. But the number of criteria or the range criteria that you can have in countifs function is 127. So you cannot have more than 127 criterias for your ranges that you specified or the criterias that you specified. Yeah. So the first range is which will evaluate with the associated criteria. And the criteria is in the form of number, expression, or cell reference, or a text that define which cell will be counted. Okay. Additionally, you can have additional ranges that are associated with the criteria, but that will be executed in a sequential manner. So the R1 and C1 would be executed first, post that R2 and C2. So this additional ranges, you can have around 127 range and criteria pairs which are allowed. Okay, so let's jump on to a quick example. Let's say if I want to have, uh, I want to count books, yeah, but I also want to count, let me have this here. Also, I want to count if if the quantity is greater than 50. Yeah. So my quantity should be greater than 50. That is my requirement. Yeah. So it should be greater than 50. My quantity should be greater than 50. Okay. So let's try to use this criteria and run our query. So my criteria, the category should be books as as required. And the second criteria now that we need to look at is my quantity should be greater than 50, or yeah, greater than 50. You can see there is only one record which has books and which is having quantity greater than 50. So these are all books, and we can see this is greater than 50. No, this is greater than 50. No, this is greater than 50. No. So there is only one record which is greater than 50. And that's what the output that we got here. Yeah. Same way, we can have if I want to check for sales based on this particular criteria, I want to count. Also, I want, suppose I change this criteria to 25. So I say this should be greater. This time I'll put it in the formula. This should be greater than 25. Yeah. So it is giving me three records. Now, suppose out of this records, I also want the rating to be greater than three. Okay, so I put the output. I want the, as I said, I want the rating to be greater than three. Yeah, so I'll say I have selected. Oh, have I done anything wrong? Should be greater than three. So let me put the output here. So it should be greater than three, as I told you. Yeah, so there are two records which has ratings greater than three, and we have three criteria for a counter this time. Yeah. So this is how you can use your countifs ranges. Yeah. Same way what I can do is I can also use wildcard characters and use this. So I'll just take this once again from a previous formula and input it here in spite of books, and we'll get more records. So if you see previously when we had only one criteria, that is O to be checked, it gave me 14 records, but this time I added two more criteria to the initial criteria of O alphabet in the category words. I added greater than 25 of quantity, value, and ratings to be greater than 3. So I have got 11 records which matches the count. Yeah. Now you need to be careful that each additional row must have the same number of rows and columns as the criteria range argument. Now suppose I use this same example, but I reduce the number of rows for my any of the criteria. It will give me a value error. So all the ranges within this criteria or arguments has to be of the same length. Yeah, it cannot be more or it cannot be less. It will still give me a value error. So it has to be all the all this particular ranges has to be of same length. Yeah, then only the formula would get executed. Yeah. If any specified criteria arguments are text strings that are greater than 255 character, countifs will again return a value as we had previously. Yeah. So you need to be careful of that as well. Now, if the criteria argument of a reference cell is 0, so suppose I have this quantity somewhere as 0. So let me make this 0. It it will still treat it as a value. Yeah. But if I try to delete this, let's see what happens if I delete this value. Yeah. So it will still, since it is not in count anywhere, we need to find something which is greater than 50, suppose 60. I delete this value. See, see the countif changes because it will not consider blank values while counting. Yeah. Again, if I replace it, you will find the count has changed. So this is how the countif function works. The point here is you can have multiple ranges or criterias on which, based on which you can count the values or sort your values or you can pick your values within the cell references, which needs or which has to be counted for a specific data analysis. Yeah, I usually, in a practical experience, I use it for employee performance, wherein I want to count the number of employees who are performing or are working for a particular month. I do that. Yeah. Hope I was able to make the concept clear on counters. Hope you like this video. Do like it, share it across with your colleagues who want to learn Excel. Comment if you want me to cover any topics uh, which needs to be covered in this 365 days of Excel journey. Uh, and yes, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, because that's how you're going to get all the notification of my future videos that I upload on YouTube. And yes, that will also motivate me towards creating such free content for you all. Thank you so much.